I'd like to welcome to the stage our final tech chat. This will be with Matt Zitzmann, the co-founder and CEO of Kamcord, and interviewing him is going to be Eric Savitz from Brunswick Group. So take it away.
Thanks. Those are the coolest sneakers ever.
Thank you.
Okay. So Kamcord does a really interesting thing. As the name implies, there's a video capture element here, but it's not a device. You're capturing gameplay. And talk a little bit about the company and what you're delivering and some of the really amazing numbers that you've already put up in the company show.
Yeah, sure. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yeah. No.
I turned it off. Hear me now? Can you hear me now? Okay. So Kamcord is a piece of technology that we built, and it goes into mobile games, and basically makes it really, really easy for a gamer to record and share a video of their gameplay. So for folks that go on vacations, right? You always go with your family and you take a camera and you want to remember stuff, right? For a gamer, when they're playing and you get a high score, this is sort of your camera. That's the analogy, is that we're sitting behind the scenes like a DVR, recording the screen and allowing you to share to your friends or other gamers in that game the cool stuff that you accomplish in the game. And we launched in June 2012, so about a year and a half ago roughly, and we've now recorded very close to 3 billion videos. So yeah, it's just sort of going crazy, and users love it. And I think what we saw in the market, the gap we saw, is that people love watching, or for that matter, recording, sharing, and watching their gameplay content. It's a huge phenomenon on YouTube and across the internet, and throughout Asia for that matter too. And we realized, no one had built this technology for mobile games, and mobile is huge. It's 1 billion people. There's obviously thousands and thousands of games, that come out every week, and no one had built the technology. We looked around all over the place on the web, and we just could not find it, and it shocked us. And so basically, the three of us that started the company, we went to school together at MIT, and we're all computer science guys, and we moved in together, and we got some funding, and the rest is history.
So there are other places on the web that are recording where you can watch all kinds of other video. The fact that you're doing mobile games, does that say something about the evolution of the kinds of games that are being played on mobile devices? I mean, you probably don't want to watch me play Candy Crush in a video, right? So talk a little bit about how the software works, which platforms that you can play it on, and how it interacts with games.
Yeah, well actually people do watch Candy Crush, believe it or not. There's videos with hundreds of thousands of views on YouTube, and but I mean, your point is well taken, that the quality of mobile games has come a long way, and there's a variety of reasons for that. One is the devices have gotten a lot better, right? The processing power and whatnot, GPU, CPU, all of these things have gotten better. If you look at the first version of the iPhone to where we're at today, it's totally night and day. Also, the technology that game developers use to build games, it has become more collaborative. It's easier to build a game and to basically publish it and get it out to millions of people, and we've seen that time and again with mobile games. So I think there's these are sort of the market trends that have enabled Kamcord to exist: the technology, the processing power, the quality of the games, and this trend of people recording and sharing and watching. People have done this for a while now on PC, but it didn't exist really in mobile because no one had built the technology, and really the only good way to do this was to buy about $250 worth of hardware to record your gameplay using hardware, using cords and game capture cards, and it was really we bought all this stuff, and it was really complicated to set up, and no one on our team really totally figured it out. I think I got the farthest, but.
And so you're doing this on iOS and Android both.
Yep, so we're a cross-platform solution, iOS and Android. We support many game engines and now reach about 10 million gamers a month.
And so, so I record my awesome Candy Crush session, and I decide that I want to give people the opportunity to share in my joy as I get to like level 63 or whatever.
Yeah.
So, where are they going to see it?
Yeah, so basically there's lots of things there. So you can share the gameplay out to Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. You can also share via email. But actually the most interesting part is you can actually watch it right within the game. And we see users doing this in a really meaningful way. We just went live in a game a few weeks ago, and they're seeing, it's a really big game developer called Trinity in China, and they're seeing crazy social engagement. 11% of views convert into a like, and 3 to 4% of views convert into a comment. So if you look at the top level stats on a YouTube video, maybe 1 or 2% will like it. So we're seeing really, really high social engagement. And I think the reason is that when you play a game, you're sort of curious, what are other people doing in this game, right? How did they solve that level, or what, what weapons are they using, or characters, or new levels that are coming out, or all these different things. And so for a user that just opens the game, we're one button away from seeing all of that information, right? And it's right there, right within the game. We make it really, really simple. You don't have to jump out to another app or anything.
So are you creating, do you think this is a content channel so in other words, so I can post on social networks, I can post this to YouTube when the other video.
Yep.
But are you creating a content destination around this content?
Yeah, so when we started the company in early 2012, it was the three of us in a little duplex in Sunnyvale, and we started with let's build the tech and then we'll figure other stuff out later. And we built the tech and proved that really large. We were talking to the biggest game developers in the world, right from our living room, and it was okay, this is ridiculous. We need to actually have a real team in an office, So we had raised some capital, went through Y Combinator, and that allowed us to build a team and get an office. And what we realized is that the value that we can provide to the mobile game ecosystem long term is actually not just this cool technology. What we really think that we can actually build long term is a really compelling community of people that watch this content. And that's really what YouTube and these other destination sites have done for PC games. They've created a one-stop shop experience for users, whether it be for recorded content or live streaming. And we think that there's going to be a huge opportunity on the mobile side.
And so are you monetizing by selling advertising, or do you see other ways you might monetize the service?
Right, yeah, so I think, as we build that community, which is something we're going to be doing very soon, as we start to launch more and more of our products, we anticipate that, game developers will go, wow, you have these really highly engaged users. I would love to have my videos in front of them. How can we do that? And so then, yeah, that opens the door for us to have conversations around monetizing that experience, but in a way that balances the user experience. So Peter was talking about, I used to work on AdSense and AdWords too, and it's a tricky balance. You want to make sure that you have targeted ads that are relevant to the user, and that's something that we'll need to focus on.
So do you need, if I'm a game developer, does the game developer have to do anything to make their game capable, or does it just sit on top of the game?
Yeah, so the biggest issue with screen capture technology in general is that it can actually cause the whatever you're recording or the thing that you're recording to sort of slow down or become choppy, and that's obviously a negative in terms of user experience. And so what we built is basically this technology that goes right into the game itself, and the developer will have to make a choice to integrate it into their game. And make it a part of the game. But in a way, this is actually a really good thing, because in the past, users would always download a separate piece of software. It costs $40 on the PC, and most people didn't even know about it or were too cheap to buy it. And now we're commoditizing we're basically making the technology free and very easy to use. And our goal is actually to you know, basically make it really easy to share and have access to the video content so we can then build a community later on in the future.
So I want to have you talk for a minute or two about your some of your funding sources, because you've got some interesting backers. You have some high-profile investors. I know you started as a Y Combinator company. You have some interesting investors, including Horowitz and Google Ventures. But you also have some money from China, including Tencent. So talk a little bit about the ties that you have to China and the reception you're getting in the Asian market.
Sure. I guess so. For us with funding, we had quit our jobs. We were living in this apartment, and then we got into Y Combinator, which was a huge honor. I've been tracking YC for years and years, it was kind of surreal. I mean, it was a really surreal experience, like meeting Paul Graham for the first time, you know, and like this is someone I've read, you know, 50 of his essays, and he's you know, like a hero in my mind. And so went through YC, and then we had basically 4 of our previous bosses invested in us, which was pretty cool. And so that phone might be done. But yes, we had 4 bosses invest in us, and my co-founder had been at a startup, so 2 of his, you know, the 2 co-founders at the startup that he was at invested, and then I had an opportunity at Google to work for Marissa Meyer while she was still at Google, and so I had told her, oh, you know, I've quit and I'm working on this thing, and she said, well, you know, I could invest, and I go, oh, well, sure. And so that's how that came about. And then after YC, we went through the whole demo day experience, and that's a really crazy experience where, you know, you meet all these celebrity investors and random people, and lots of meetings follow. And yeah, you know, our seed round came together really nicely. We had Andreessen Horowitz and Google Ventures and Tencent invest, and then later on, we got an opportunity to meet up with InnovationWorks, Kai-Fu's firm, and they have been phenomenal. You know, I mean, we have built a really strong relationship with all of our Asian investors. We also have an investor called Digital Garage in Japan. So the reception in Asia has far exceeded our expectations, and the simplest thing for us to do was just go there, just go visit. And so that's what we did. We went to Korea, we went to G-Star, which is a really big gaming conference in November, and just tons and tons of interest. We went to Japan for a conference, and again, the same thing. And so we're at the point where we're starting to see game developers that are based in Asia, in China, in Korea, in Japan, go live with Kamcord. And so we're now in the process of, you know, starting to figure out what do we do next. You know, do we staff up a team there? Do we try to manage it from here in San Francisco? So there's a lot of questions that we'll have, and we're working through that with our investors and making some decisions around that.
How much of your user base is there in Asia?
It's still about 10 to 15%. So it's not the majority by any means, but it's grown from basically 0. You know, and our focus is more, less on the end user right now and more on the developer, because we have to get our tech into the games. And most recently, a lot of the games that have gone live with Kamcord have come from Asia.
So are there other developers that are creating similar tools as you talk to the developers of mobile games? Are they seeing anybody else doing this?
Generally not. There's not the game developers focus on building games and generally shy away from building, core tech like this, so they, and also just managing videos and streaming and all those associated costs, I think they shy away from that. So we generally have not seen game developers build this type of technology.
It's a really interesting combination of East and West, particularly your investor mix. It's quite unusual, I think, and interesting, intriguing even. Are there any questions from the audience?